Hello, and welcome to the WHO Bulletin. Can you all hear me alright? Can you all see me alright? That's the first brilliant question to start with. Because for some reason the chat isn't loading into this thing that I've got here, which is weird. That works, but the other one doesn't work. And the other one is the one I want to work, so that's really fucking annoying. Should work, but it doesn't seem to want to work, so we might have to go for the horrible other chat that I don't really like that much and it doesn't really stay up to date too much, but here we are. Let's say hello to everyone once again. Thank you so much for joining the WHO Bulletin this week. 60 concurrent viewers, bloody hell, we've grown. As my nan would say to me every time I go home, "Who's this? You've grown." The coat looks so nice in the thumbnail. I hope you're talking about my jacket coat thing. That doesn't really work. Welcome, Dr. Master, Time Lord 2023, George Kopp, Underhenge, SK, Robert K, Gary Crew, Alternate 13th, Dan Ben, FU2CU. I'm not going to try and butcher around that. Joey, welcome to the stream. Adrian Zweimer. I'm actually terrible at pronouncing names, just FYI. Zweimer. Gary Crew, Mufasa Chowdhury, again, probably butchered that. Chris Thornton, Adam Hassel, Doctor Who, Minemator, Miriam Morales, Thunder King 24, Danny Phillipson. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Bloody hell, we've got a lot of people starting the stream today. It's great to see these streams growing. We're here every single week, so it's great to see some familiar names, and also, of course, some brand new names as well. So thank you so much for joining so far. Let me just finish what I was doing, and then I'll quickly... Okay, there we go. I was just setting up something for the Twitch stream later, and it wasn't working, so I'm just kind of curious to see how that's going to work. Sure, that'll probably work. Anyway, welcome to the stream. Today we're talking about Doctor Who news. We haven't got too much news to talk about today, because there's not really been much news this week. But what I have got is a Monster Energy, as per Mango... I was going to say chutney, but that's not the right word, is it? It's Mango Loco, which might be a little bit cultural appropriation-y. I'm not sure. Not from me, from the people at Monster, of course. Not that that's libel, I don't know. Is it libel? Is it slander? I don't know. J. Jonah Jameson will tell you. Connor Lewis, Mark Simpson, Lonica Music Channel, love that. No pot pies today. No pot pies today. I had 2 sausage rolls and I had them before the stream this time, so you know I'm doing good because I actually managed to do it before starting the stream, which is just incredible for me. That very rarely happens, so you should be excited, really. In terms of news today, the big thing is air dates, which isn't really so much news, but more of a discussion. We did get some exciting news today, though, about 2 new writers, so we'll talk about that promptly. Let's have a gander at that. But first of all, yeah, how are you all doing? How's your week been? What Doctor Who news are you excited about? Is there anything you want me to talk about today? Feel free to put it in the chat. And I'll have... I came in for the mukbang. I think it was never meant to be like me coming on and eating food for you guys. But it sort of turned into that because I just run out of time after work. So yeah, what Doctor Who news has been going on? What are you interested in this week? What theories have you got? Etc, etc, etc. Same questions as always. But drop them in the chat. I'll read them out. And if I don't read them out, put them again in 5 minutes' time. Worked in a pot pie factory in Leicester, can't eat them anymore. That is a shame, Ryan Blackmore, because pot pies are great. But I can imagine probably watching them get made isn't the nicest of experiences, I would have thought. Anyway, let's get right into... Did you know the BBC4, 1 hour on the 1st of November, there's a new Doctor Who documentary with David Tennant looking back through the archive interviews. I did know that, but I'd completely forgotten about it, so that's really exciting. That's good news. Dan Ben there, keeping us more up to date with Doctor Who news than I am on my actual Doctor Who news show. Did you ever watch Vote Saxon 07? I don't think that's the time to really discuss that. I think that might kill the sort of positive vibe I'm kind of trying to go for here. So let's not discuss him. Jesus Christ. Unexpected things to look forward to? Yeah, it's very true. Well, let's first of all go to the Doctor Who news which was announced today. There's always Doctor Who news on a Tuesday. I always find there's always something recorded last minute that sort of interrupts what I'm planning to talk about. But it was announced today, and I'll just quickly hop over here to show you that writers Kate Herron and Bryony Redman, not these two, of course, join forces. You guys can't see the chat anymore. There we go. That's horrendous. Nice one, George. Very good. This works well, man. This works amazingly. Why don't you keep this more often? This is amazing. This is perfection. Right, there we go. So, two new writers to be working together to co-write a Doctor Who episode. So this is a new thing for a lot of reasons. Obviously, a lot of people have pointed out that the sort of very many eras of Doctor Who, especially early New Who, from Eccleston through Smith, through a good amount of Capaldi, but not all. There's a fucking fly above me now. That's going to distract me. There haven't been many female writers to Doctor Who, so we got a few in Jodie's era, and that was great. And we've got a couple more here as well, joining the series next year. But these two are significant, so yes, let's talk about that. Kate Herron and Bryony Redman are co-writing together, which is also a bit of a first for Doctor Who in a long while. It's not a co-writing partnership between a writer and the showrunner. It's just two writers, and I actually really like that. That's a great move, and I'm quite excited by the prospects of that. Like, it's not an episode that just has creative interference from the showrunner, but actually two separate writers working together on an episode. It's a good idea. I like it. Both writers have made their marks as creatives. Kate is the executive producer and director of the entirety of Series 1 of the popular Marvel Studios series Loki, as well as directing on critically acclaimed series Sex Education. So here's the main exciting thing. Obviously, Kate Herron is a name you all may recognise anyway, and as I've just read out, directed and produced Loki Season 1 for Disney+, which is super exciting to have someone who's kind of come from, you know, the big Hollywood Marvel side of things. Now, personally, I'm not a huge Marvel fan. I'm not loving their most recent projects, but I did watch Loki Season 1, and I was impressed by it. I enjoyed it. I think it was really good, and obviously a lot of people drew comparisons to Doctor Who, especially with the whole like time variance authority kind of thing, very Time Lord-esque. That fly is going to wind me up until I kill it. I'm going to have to kill that fly. But not yet. It's a great series, and kind of very interesting in terms of the Doctor Who comparisons. Obviously, it's got a bigger budget. Obviously, it's got very much more out there and weird. So it's really cool that, like, Russell's brought on someone who was, you know, not just like worked on it, but someone who was the director for all of the episodes of the first series, which is really exciting, because when you work at the high levels, it's sort of bringing something to a show like Doctor Who. Obviously, Doctor Who has been around for years. It's had some phenomenal talent throughout the years, but to get someone who's come from the Marvel side of things, it doesn't happen very often from that level to Doctor Who, you know, British TV. So it does bring a little bit more of that stardom to the next series of Doctor Who that Ncuti Gatwa is already bringing, along with, I'm sure, more writers and directors to be announced. Bryony is an actor, comedian, and BAFTA Rowcliffe winning writer, whose work includes the Welsh crime comedy Pont Brec with Damien Evans, and the award-winning short film Forget Me Not, which screened across film festivals internationally. The pair have collaborated on a range of work together, including their comic The Stalkening, as well as film and TV projects including the sci-fi Miss Universe and the acclaimed short film Smear. I can't say I've seen any of these, but again, as I said, very exciting. It's not only a duo of two random well-received creatives, but it's two well-received creatives who have been well-received creatives together for their joint work, and I think that's exciting. Kate Herron said, "Clearly, I can't get enough of time travel. It's an absolute honour to write for Russell and Ncuti. We had so much fun, and can't wait for you all to see it." And then Bryony said, as a big fan of Doctor Who and Russell T Davies, it's been a dream to write on this show. Put my phone there. As a big, Doctor Who showrunner Russell T Davies said, "This is when I absolutely love my job. Working with the stellar talents of Kate and Bryony makes my whole world bigger and brighter and a lot more fun. I was a huge fan of Loki and reached out to Kate to say so. She then introduced me to Bryony. and it was all systems go. They've written a wonderful script which created unique challenges for the cast and crew alike. The end result is gorgeous and thrilling and scary, and not like any other episode of Doctor Who. Doctor Who returns November 2020. Okay. Yeah, very, very exciting. You know, like, I love that, and I think that approach to it is great. Like, he went to commend Kate as a writer, as a director and producer for Loki, and to then get them involved with Doctor Who is really exciting. So that's the big news of today. But beyond that, I'm not really sure what else has been going on. So let me just have a quick look at the chat, see what you guys are saying. Just go to here. Did you talk about the air date reports? No, I've not talked anything about air dates yet, but we're going to do that in just a bit. Chips, Mukbang, and the Who Bulletin. Oh. Is that your plan or what you want me to do? That fly is genuinely going to wind me up. I'm determined to try and kill it on stream. Because obviously I've got my big studio light right in front of me, and it keeps like landing right in the middle of it. Because it's a fly. But I feel like I really want to just like kill it so it stops distracting me. That would be great. But we'll just keep going. I don't want it to get in my monster. Yeah, there's quite a few interesting things going on at the minute as well. So there's a behind-the-scenes video from David Tennant's side of the regeneration, which is really cool. When it dropped, I was like... I was kind of like, oh, we've already seen this, they're just resharing it. But I was like, actually, no, I don't think... We haven't seen this, and that's actually great. And I have to say... Look, I love behind-the-scenes stuff anyway. With Doctor Who, always down for that sort of stuff. This just feels, I don't know, tighter. It feels like you're seeing a lot more of the behind-the-scenes side of stuff, and talking to them on set, opposed to just the talking heads. You get a lot of talking heads in the last few years, and this isn't a criticism of Jodie's era or anything. In fact, Jodie's era had some of the best behind-the-scenes stuff in years. It's actually more Steven's era, where they kind of pulled that back a little bit. I always hated that they got rid of Confidential, but this feels like something that would be in Confidential or Doctor Who Unleashed, but obviously it's not, because it's for Power of the Doctor, so they won't be doing it. But the fact that they still filmed behind the scenes stuff of what was essentially a pickup shot for an episode that wasn't even in their own era, that's great. You know, that we got 2.5 minutes of that. Kind of reminds me of those sort of old days where we would get that sort of thing. It feels like a clip from a full episode of Doctor Who Confidential or Doctor Who Unleashed or whatever you want to call it. But that to me is super exciting, and yeah, I'm gassed about that. I thought that video was great. If you haven't seen it, obviously check it out. Yeah, Walter White moment. Honestly, it feels like it. It's sort of winding me up. Thank you, Chuckopedia. That means a lot. That's great. Vids are very entertaining. Thank you, Luca. Much appreciated. Yeah, but that's great, and it obviously gives you a bit of an insight as to what they're thinking about it as well. I mean, people are like, oh my god, they confirmed that the change of clothes isn't like, you know, it's like not accidental. It's like, oh, fucking obviously it's not, you know, like, people are sort of surprised that there's actually something else at play here. People sort of see something, and by people I mean Doctor Who fans generally see something and they go, well, but they haven't done this before. This is bad. They can't do this. I mean, this is horrible. This is ridiculous. It doesn't fit at all. They're never gonna, you know, because they haven't explained it in the moment that it happens. Oh shit, they haven't explained it in the moment that it happens. It's like they're never gonna explain it. It's like, you know, if when River Song shows up in Silence of the Library and Forest of the Dead, I bet there were some people out there who were going like, oh, like, why are they bothering introducing this character as if it's like for the future? Like, we just need to know who it is. Like, what's the point? And it's like the whole point of a mystery, and it, like, or doing something intriguing, is to keep people watching to see what happens. That's how, like, literally every film or TV show works. That's literally how everything fucking works. And we're getting a bit tied up over, but he changed clothes. They can't do that. That's really lazy. Of course, there's a reason behind it. And I'm glad it's something subtle. I'm glad it's something they're kind of expressing. Now, it's got to be something to do with the Toymaker, or maybe it isn't. The only thing that makes me think Toymaker is that, right, the only comparison, right, the only 2 times the Doctor has changed the clothes whilst regenerating is now and when Hartnell regenerated. The only 2 incarnations currently who have met the Toymaker. I'm just saying. Maybe there's a reason for that. And it would also connect it, you know. If you can use this to somehow fix like a 60, no, maybe not 60, but like 56, 55-year-old like plot hole from Doctor Who in the 10th Planet, where like the Doctor changes clothes when they regenerate. If you can somehow fix that with this sort of Toymaker story, then that would be brilliant. You know, I'd absolutely adore that, because that would be just like one of those little things that's really satisfying. It's the kind of like Easter eggs that I kind of like as a Doctor Who fan, not the ones that sort of smack you over the head and go, here's Ian Chesterton. I'm like, oh, wow. But if you sort of fix like a niche plot hole from like fucking 40, 50 years ago, and then like someone points it out on Twitter and I watch it and go, oh, that's satisfying. I love that. No one, the general audience don't care because it's not like a stupid cameo or something that isn't really important. It's like, it's a throwaway line and it just fixes all of that. You know? It's probably why I like The Timeless Child so much with the whole Morbius Doctors thing, but that's not to get into that. Do you think the Master will be back to cause havoc? Hopefully not. I don't want to see the Master for a few years, to be honest. You know, maybe this will come to bite me in the arse when, like, a year's time the Master comes back, and I'm on one of these Who Bulletin things, if this series is still going by then, and being like, oh my god, I can't believe the Master's back, it was so amazingly done. This might come back to bite me in the arse. I don't want to see the Master for at least, like, 5 years. Not even joking. Like, I am sick of seeing the Master. I'd probably say the same thing about the Cybermen and the Daleks as well, to be honest. But we're more than likely to see them at some point. The Cybermen especially, the Cybermen need to go for a while. And if they're going to come back, do, like, the Mondasian approach, World Enough in Time, 10th Planet approach. I want to see some body horror Cybermen, not fucking stupid metal men robot stuff. It's really getting old now for me, and I know it's because they can sell action figures of it, and no one wants like an action figure of like a rotting, deceased cyborg patient, but I would buy that. Yeah, the monster is kicking in. Thank you for noticing. Yeah, where was I going with that? Yeah, I don't want to see the Master. I don't want to see the Daleks. I don't want to see the Daleks are probably the only ones I would see, because the Daleks are like a staple, and like I'm always happy to see the Daleks because they're always cool. They're never not cool, even when they're a bit shit, like in Evil the Daleks, when they just appear and don't do anything. It's fine, because I still enjoy the Daleks, you know. And Russell can also do the Daleks relatively well. He did keep bringing them back, but Christ, at least he kept them scary. Like, he properly did. I mean, I'm not a big fan of, like, Evolution of the Daleks and Daleks Take Manhattan, but I did like the Daleks in Series 1. Doomsday and Army of Ghosts were great. Series 4, yeah, Journey's End, Stolen Earth, they were great for Dalek rep. The Dalek stories I don't like kind of come in later series, like Victory of the Daleks, or Asylum of the Daleks, or I don't know. I think that's that, to be honest. Honestly, I think that might be... Oh, Magician's Apprentice and Witches Familiar. I like Into the Dalek, which is really... That's a really, really good Dalek story. That's so underrated. It's so stylistically, like, gorgeous. Like, they really just went out and made that like a film, basically. They were still reeling off Series 7, where every episode had to feel like a film. We don't get that anymore, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I don't want every episode to feel like a film, but that was cool. That was a cool Dalek episode, and I liked that. Whereas... God, let me have a think. Yeah, Resolution and Revolution of the Daleks were pretty good, to be honest. I still like Resolution for what it is. The whole symbiote Dalek thing and like the rusty casing, I thought that was all brilliant. I think it looked great and it was very creative and different, and I liked that. Revolution of the Daleks was great. to an extent, if you turn your brain off and don't think about it. There's a lot of wasted potential in that story, but it's still fun. Even the Daleks, I just think, shit, I don't like that film. I don't like that film, don't like that episode. So I would see the Daleks back, of course I would, especially under Russell, and he probably will bring them back at some point. Russell loved the Daleks. Don't forget that Russell had, like, I'm trying to think. Russell had 2 episodes a season with the Daleks in every one of his, like, series. You know, he had Journey's End and Stolen Earth. He had Daleks Take Manhattan and Evolution of the Daleks, Army of Ghosts and Doomsday, and then 3 in Series 1 with Dalek, Bad Wolf, and Parting of the Ways. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he brings them back, but I don't really mind, because most of those stories are pretty decent Dalek stories that I happened at the time to quite enjoy. They all brought something a little bit different, and they all sort of tried a different approach with the Daleks. But the thing is, this is me becoming an adult now and being like, I want Doctor Who to fit what I like now. But the fact of the matter is, it's never going to. Like, Doctor Who's magical when you're a kid and you grow up, and it sort of still is, but then it's sort of, you want darker stuff that you're just never going to get, maybe. But I think they know that to an extent. It's why they, you know, a lot of the sort of gearing is towards more of an adult audience in a certain sense. It's why Torchwood did so well. But I don't know, I kind of love it. Bloody hell, we've got 74 people watching. Welcome to the stream, everyone, by the way. If you're not already coming in weekly, please do subscribe, like, you know, drop a message in the chat, etc. I am trying to read as much as you guys are saying. We do this stream every single Tuesday from 7 o'clock. Next week, I'm not sure what I'm doing yet. Either I'll do an earlier stream, or maybe not one at all, so I'm not sure, because it's Halloween. But I would like to do something, so I will let you all know what I do, but we will see. But yeah, beyond that, yeah, every Tuesday, more or less, and especially as we go firing into November, I've got some very, very exciting stuff lined up. On the 7th of November, I've got a really, really exciting Doctor Who stream for you, so please do stay tuned for that one. And then beyond that, obviously we'll be reviewing the 60th specials when they come out every Tuesday as well. So I'm super, super excited for all that. But yeah, thank you for joining. Bloody hell. I'm not used to having this many people in the stream. At least not for a while, but it's nice to have some of you back. What else are we looking at here? Yeah, so I don't know, I quite like that. What else have we got? Doctor Who hasn't been scary since Series 6. Yeah, I'd probably agree, to be honest. We need like a proper horror episode again. Like, I want an episode that's like properly scary. Like, the thing is, like, stuff that was scary when I was a kid isn't as scary now, but, like, some stuff really holds up. Like, I think Flesh and Stone and Time of Angels is a proper good Weeping Angel story. No one gets this, but it's sort of like, I love it. Blink is great, but it is very much of its own era. Revolution... Revolution's pacing was awful. You're probably right with that one, to be honest. And yeah, you're probably right, actually. But I think with Revolution, I can kind of turn my brain off and just enjoy the sort of sound effects and the whole Dalek invasion of Earth thing and the kind of bouncing around of all these different things. I kind of enjoy that more than the whole time loop thing. For me, Eve of the Daleks felt like a budget-saving episode because they knew they had to do the centenary, and they also wanted to spend a lot of money on the Sea Devils with big flying pirate ships and underwater scenes. So they knew that they had to save a bit of money, so they just set a Dalek episode in a warehouse. You know, they've got tons of Daleks. They just do a Cardiff warehouse, and there you go, Bob's your uncle. We got an episode. And I just kind of felt like it was very visually flat. In my opinion, it didn't look very nice. It wasn't very out there. It felt like, you know, I could kind of tell they were trying to save money. Maybe that's right, maybe that's wrong, but I didn't really like the setting of it. If it was a time loop on like a Dalek ship, way more exciting, you know? But because it's in like a warehouse, it's just like, okay. Yeah, Jack not dying in Revolution once was just mental, to be honest. It was rushed, but it was just kind of like, you can just, again, as I say, like, turn my brain off and just kind of let everything kind of wash over me. I don't love a lot of Jodie's era, but I do love specific episodes, and I have a real soft spot for Series 11 still. So I'm not criticising it just outright, but it's quite common, I think, in Jodie's era to have a lot of those episodes which do feel quite... There's a lot of things that you think, what should I think about that? Like, you know, like, how the fuck did Tegan survive in Power of the Doctor when she fell down a fucking lift shaft in a skyscraper? We'll never know. It didn't hold up for you? I think the second half is weaker than the first. The first half, like Time of Angels, is an unreal episode. I think it's brilliant. I love like the vibe of it. I love the idea is excellent to have like a weeping angel in like a maze of statues. Genius. And then all of the statues are also weeping angels. Fantastic twist. Just love it. Series 11 I think is great. I really enjoy Series 11 because it feels disconnected from everything and you don't have to be watching it from the perspective of cameos and familiar monsters. Just proper, like, original Doctor Who stories that are so separate and you can just really enjoy it and sink your teeth in. I think the most intellectually written series of Jodie's era was Series 11, 100%. I think once you get to Series 12 and you get, like, Timeless Child and all that sort of thing, it feels like they're trying to play to the crowd a little bit more. Oh, you want old monsters back. Oh, you want some lore stuff. Okay, we'll do a whole new story about it. And then it's like, that worked, let's do Flux and make it a big thing. And actually, I think the downside of Flux was that it was a big thing. I kind of feel like episodes like Village of the Angels and War of the Sontarans would hold up tremendously better if they weren't wedged into a bigger story. And I genuinely think that's true, you know? I don't think that's like a bad thing inherently. I just think that that's just... I don't know, it's just kind of how I feel about it, which is a shame, really, but it is what it is. Gwen from Torchwood could come back. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I'd love to see some sort of unit spin-off series. I feel like we've been teeing this up for years. This is such an established organisation in Doctor Who. It feels like a no-brainer to really do something with Unit. The best thing they've done with Unit in years was the whole thing in Flux, to be honest. I quite like the idea of them purposefully not doing Unit at the beginning of Jodie's era and then giving us, like... the whole thing in Flux where it's like, oh, the Grand Serpent's been playing with it, but like it didn't go anywhere. That's the problem I didn't like with it. It's sort of like a great idea, and I'm like, oh, this is exciting, and then it doesn't. There's no resolution. Torchwood is so dated. As someone who didn't grow up in that time period, I just couldn't gel with it. Except Children of Earth. You know, I mean, maybe again, I don't know if it's like an age thing. I never watched Torchwood growing up, and I watched it for the first time a couple of years ago, and I really enjoyed it. Like, I really, really got into it. It's cheesy, but I like the characters of it. And then Children of Earth obviously is excellent. Miracle Day is a slog, but... Hey, there's a personal question. Hey George, why don't you go by Ace Creeper anymore? So a few things, and I've kind of talked about this quite a bit, but the reason I don't go by Ace Creeper anymore, which is what a lot of people know me by, is because I think I got to a point with YouTube where I kind of felt like I was done with it, and Ace Creeper was a thing that I had on there for like 8.5 years, 9 years. And I kind of thought, you know what, like, I'm doing other stuff, and in my personal life, I'm working on other creative projects outside of YouTube. So it was, you know, I've got a full-time job now, but also I'm trying to make short films. I'm trying to do other creative projects that I'd like to upload somewhere. But I didn't want it to be under the banner of Ace Creeper. So if I've made a short film, which I'm still yet to release on YouTube, but I will eventually be releasing it on YouTube after doing, like, a big screening, and when it's, like, 100% finished where I'm, like, happy with it, we're still making tweaks. But the first film that I've written and directed will be coming on this channel at some point. It's not Doctor Who related. It's got nothing to do with Doctor Who, so I didn't want it to be underneath the banner of Ace Creeper. I kind of wanted it to be just me, and people know me for me. You know, I want sort of my name to be attached to it, not what is quite literally my 10-year-old Xbox gamer tag that I picked. And that is the honest truth. Like, it was Ace Creeper 90,000, or Ace Creeper 9000 was my Xbox gamer tag. So yeah, when I sort of settled down with YouTube and stopped doing it as much, I changed the name so I could kind of do it under a new banner. And then coming back with the Who Bulletin, it's like, this is a Doctor Who show that I'm hosting. It's not hosted by Ace Creeper, it's hosted by me, who is called George Sheard. You know, I'm not called Ace Creeper, so it's just sort of a no-brainer to me that I kind of want to do that. It also feels more professional, which I'm trying to be at the age of 22, trying to be a bit more professional. You know, you look at people like Josh Snares, for example, who I idolize. I think his content is amazing. You know, it's not like TARDIS Lover 63. It's Josh Snares. And you know what you're watching, you know who's presenting it, you know who the person is. You don't know it by an identity. So for me, I prefer that. Maybe it's not the best for SEO, maybe I would have done better coming back to Doctor Who if my channel name was still Ace Creeper, but that is why I go by my actual name now, and not Ace Creeper. But there you go. That's a bit of an answer for you. Bit of a long-winded answer, but there you go. You genuinely did think my first name was Ace. This is what I mean. How am I supposed to make it in a career if everyone thinks my name is Ace? Okay, it's been half an hour. Let's talk about air dates. So, everyone is debating air dates at the minute. So I want to ask you guys, I'm going to read out some Twitter responses first, but I'm going to ask you guys as well to put in chat, when do you think the 360th specials are going to drop? What dates do you think it's going to be? Let's have a gander at what I asked you guys. So I asked on Twitter, and if you're not following me on Twitter, by the way, feel free to. It should be in the description below, and it's at georgesheard. I see the fly. I see the fly. Oh, you fuck. It just needs to get in the light so I can see it properly. So, yeah, I said, so this begs the question, Doctor Who Twitter, when will the 3 specials air? Tell me below. And a few people engage with it. Trippy Intellect says the 11th, 18th, and 25th. Tom Blythe says 11th, 18th, 25th. But it's seeming all too likely that it's going to be 25th, 2nd, and 9th. That being on the 25th of November, 2nd, and 9th of December. 11th, 18th, 25th. November 4th, 11th, 18th, and 25th makes the most sense, says Cleo. Anything past that, you've missed the anniversary. Really hoping the December rumour isn't true. So, yeah. A lot of theorising, a lot of people thinking that we're going to see the specials in early December. So here's the two sides of it, right? If the anniversary specials come out, and they're probably going to come out weekly, probably likely across 3 weeks. Let's be fair, right? Let's completely honest with yourself. It's probably going to be that. If they are celebrating the 60th anniversary, they're going to want to air around. Here we go. Oh, you fuck. Okay. What the fuck? Settle down, you little prick. I'm going to hit you. For those just joining, I'm trying to kill a fly, and it's because it keeps buzzing in front of my face, and I'm like wanting to whack it, but I keep missing it. If the specials air from what the rumoured dates are, the 25th, 2nd, and 9th, that would leave a random sort of like 2.5 weeks between the end of the specials and the Christmas special. Alternatively, doing it the 11th, 18th, and 25th, separate it enough from Christmas where you've got like a month leading up to it. Because then it's exactly a month. And I mean, that's satisfying to me. Maybe that's, you know, it is whatever. But it makes sense for me. The 60th anniversary month of Doctor Who is November. They've been holding off for so long. It feels like the right time for when they get to the 1st of November, we're going to do loads of stuff. That month is the anniversary month. It's the return of Doctor Who. It's back. We're going to do 11th, 18th, 25th. Would make the most sense to me, because then you're just cutting off the anniversary, right? Because you've got a few things right in between there as well. If you start on the 11th as the as the Star Beast, that's what it's called, and then follow up with the next week being the 18th with Wild Blue Yonder, Friday the 17th is Children in Need. So bear that in mind. Would be fantastic promotion for the next episode, or to have a skit of itself. You know, we know that at the end of the Star Beast, the Doctor and Donna fly off or something, and then they land on this spaceship at the beginning of Wild Blue Yonder. If it doesn't continue exactly, you could always have like a little short, like Meanwhile in the TARDIS from Series 5, airing on Children in Need on the Friday before. Or just a little teaser for the next episode to sort of get everyone hyped up. If you've got the opportunity to air it in November, the day after Children in Need, and you go, nah, we'll leave it, what the that's just insane to me. You wouldn't do that. Think about it. So I reckon 11th, I reckon 18th, and I reckon 25th. Because then you're getting the first week irrelevant, really. The second week is a day after Children in Need. The third week is 2 days after the actual 60th anniversary. On the 60th anniversary and the 17th being like Children in Need, like those 2 dates are significant because you can release other stuff like short films or any sort of teasers for the episodes or any sort of promotional material to tie into it. You can really make November all about Doctor Who. And then as soon as the episode finishes on the 25th, the Doctor will be back in exactly 1 month on the 25th of December, 2023. It's a no-brainer to me to work around the other events that BBC are organising. If the BBC, we know the BBC dictates usually when these episodes go live, it would be insane for the BBC to not promote Doctor Who alongside Children in Need. Surely, why wouldn't you at that point? You know what I mean? Like, you've got, unless they do it on starting on the 18th, 25th, And then the 2nd, so the 25th is the Wild Blue Yonder mystery episode that everyone thinks is going to have cameos and stuff in it. We could have that as the cameo episode the week of the actual anniversary. That would probably make the most sense. But you never know, do you? Where the fuck are these flies? Because I keep seeing one, like, buzzing round. It's really winding me up. And I want to kill it on stream, that'll be funny. What the fuck? Okay, so yeah, for me, it'll either be 11th, 18th, 25th, or it'll be 18th, 25th, and the 2nd. I absolutely do not think we're going to start seeing the 60th specials on the 25th at the end of November. That would be really, really weird. I think we're likely to get the air dates probably on Halloween, or maybe the 1st of November, to sort of announce that it's coming like a week's time or something. Also, that's the other thing as well. Bear in mind that the Dr. Donathon is on Saturday the 4th of November. So the likelihood as well is they'll do the Dr. Donathon on the 4th, and then the 11th we'll have the first episode, 18th, second episode, 25th, third episode. You're tying it in... It's annoying me. It keeps going in front of my face and then disappearing because there's a bright light in my face so I can't see it. Where I keep bloody seeing it. This is... I do feel like, Walter White in that episode about the fly. I feel like that. Yeah, anyway. So yeah, I reckon it'll be on those dates. Personally. So that's the air date discussion done. A lot of people, I don't know if that makes sense to people, but that's kind of where I'm thinking with it. What are you guys thinking? I think it's 11th, 18th, 25th, says George Corp, Christmas special in December. I don't think An Earthly Child has any relevance to when the 60th specials come out. That's just for the archive thing. And the archive thing drops on the 1st of November, I think, like right at the beginning of the month. So, meh. Meh, do what you want. I've heard it'll be either the 11th, 12th, and 13th as a 3-day event, or the 3 weekends, 11th, 18th, 25th. Likely the 3 weekends, because you're then stretching it out. You don't need to put 3 episodes back to back. Not many people will watch it. And it also leaves room for theorising and promotion and all that sort of thing. Doctor Who and the team behind it are very socially aware. They're not going to release 3 episodes back to back over like a weekend. They are going to do weekly, if anything, because then it gives people time to talk about them and theorise, and then conversation drives engagement, and engagement brings viewers, and that's what they want. So, yeah. A special Doctor Who Antiques Roadshow. Yeah, apparently there's going to be loads of tie-ins with Doctor Who, so I'm actually really excited for the 60th month. And I also love as well, I know a lot of people criticise the Chibnall era for doing this. I never really did, because I quite like the excitement of it, but I obviously think there's good and bad promotion. Doctor Who now are doing way better promotion than what we did in the Chibnall era. They're letting a lot of stuff out there, but not everything. So now I'm like, I feel like we've got no promotional material, even though there's loads of promotional material, and we got it quite early as well. But I'm buzzing now for the 60th, because I know as soon as we get to November 1st, we're likely to start seeing stuff like billboards, TV adverts, crossovers, tie-ins, Doctor Who themed shows, and just a lot of conversation about Doctor Who. Hopefully we'll get a Graham Norton show with David Tennant and Catherine Tate on it. That'd be great. They won't just drop it on iPlayer unceremoniously. That's just not going to happen. But yeah, there we go. I'm going to keep talking about Doctor Who for a little bit, but I thought whilst I've got a lot of you guys here, also thank you again for tuning in today. 86 people watching live at the moment, which is incredible for these streams. So thank you again. We try to stream every Tuesday, 7 o'clock, the Who Bulletin. We're going to talk about the latest news and reviews and all that sort of thing. Next week might be different, but keep an eye on my Twitter. Links below to see what the changes might be with next week's stream. What we do after every episode of the Who Bulletin, though, is when we finish talking about Doctor Who, we're not finished talking about Doctor Who, we never finish talking about Doctor Who, but when we finish the Who Bulletin episode, we head over to twitch.tv/georgesheard, which I've just put in the chat there. We're going to do it tonight. We do it pretty much every week. We go over to Twitch and we play some video games. And you guys can keep asking questions and keep interacting with the chat, and I'll keep interacting with you as well. So you're more than welcome to join. and chat over on Twitch. So about 8 o'clock, what we'll be doing is we'll be stopping over here and we'll be going over to Twitch. So if you want to have a gander over there and you want to get in early, feel free to head over to twitch.tv/gbsheard, link is in the chat, and drop me a follow over on Twitch. As I said, yeah, we head over there pretty much as soon as this stream ends, so, and that's every week. So yeah, Doctor Who news and then video games. Pretty fun evening for over... Great sentence, George. Nice one. You should be a presenter. Yeah, it'll be fun. So join us on over there as soon as the Who Bulletin finishes over on here. But yes, let's keep talking about Doctor Who. What am I playing this week? That's a really good question, Extreme Movie and 8. Because the Five Nights at Freddy's movie is coming out this week, and I've been playing pretty much non-stop Five Nights at Freddy's games for the last few weeks, I've decided to do a big sort of Twitch stream tonight where I basically play everything from the Five Nights at Freddy's games that I wasn't able to do in the previous ones. So I've played all the individual games, but I wasn't able to complete 1 or 2 challenges in each, or 1 or 2 difficult nights in each. So what I'm going to be trying to do is play some of the most difficult levels that I couldn't complete on the original stream broadcasts. So I thought that would be a really exciting experience for you guys to join in with. Oh, thank you, Sheld Kyle, for following me over on Twitch. So it will actually show up here, which is great to see. So yeah, that's good. If you follow me now, a little thing will pop up on the stream here, giving you a little shout out. So head over to twitch.tv/gbsheard and drop me a follow if you haven't already. Or you can do it in 15 minutes when we head over there to play Five Nights at Freddy's. You're more than welcome to. But we are trying to grow a little following over on there as well. So that'll be really nice. No, I think that... No, to be fair, I think that we'll get a Christmas special trailer immediately after the last episode. I don't think they put a trailer for the Christmas special before the final episode of the 60th. That wouldn't make much sense. But I kind of feel like we'll get something on there. Zombie Biker 600, thank you for following me over on Twitch. Thank you, Red Dead Steve, for following me over on Twitch. Really, really appreciate that. The first time specials included on Disney Plus, so they'll want to promote as much as possible. You're absolutely right. They're going to want to be pushing that as much as possible. You're right, Cara. I agree. The Who Spy thing is brilliant. In this month's magazine, Russell T Davies teased 3 dates: the 1st, 17th, and 23rd, and said none of these would have a special on it. Maybe the 1st is the air date, 17th is Children in Need, and the 23rd another little special. Did he tease the 3 dates in relation to releasing like shot footage of something, or is this going to be like they announce something on that day? Because that makes complete sense. And that's exactly ties into exactly what I've been saying. Is the 1st of November? It's the beginning of the anniversary month. They're definitely going to tweet a bunch of shit there. The 17th is Children in Need. They'd be missed up. I mean, even last year when they had no new material to show. At Children in Need, they announced Millie Gibson as the new companion, so they had a presence at Children in Need. And this year will be right before, or right during, the airing of the anniversary specials. So that's even more exciting. And then the 23rd, I wouldn't be surprised if we get another little special, because it is the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who on the day. We will be getting loads of new stuff. Think about all the stuff we got last year. That was exciting. We're definitely going to get some exciting stuff this year. We got, last year, I remember on the 60th, every single, hour, there was, a new poster or a new, video of something. So it was great. Really, really love that. When do you think we might find out when the specials air? I think we'll find out on the 1st or the 31st. I think we'll find out on Halloween, or we'll find out on the 1st of November. I think it's one of the two. Either the beginning of the anniversary month, or, the end of the month before, and it's also Halloween. Quick question on Classic Who. Will all of those episodes be on Disney Plus in the future? I don't think so, but I don't know what the crack is there, but we'll see. We'll soon find out in the future, I suppose. I wonder if this unit spin-off will be announced on the 23rd. Well, you never know. I'm hoping there'll be some sort of spin-off announced this next month, because I feel like there kind of needs to be something announced like that, because I feel like they're building up the Whoniverse. They're doing a whole new studio Hulu and everything. Yeah, I know Gemma Redgrave said there was no unit spin-off, but I don't trust that. I think there might be a unit spin-off. I kind of feel like they're going to announce something like that, because I think we need a spin-off You know, we need a new one. You know, remember Russell T Davies came back with Doctor Who, and he brought back, you know, Sarah Jane Adventures and Torchwood after doing 2 series of Doctor Who. He's a brave man, but he bloody knows what he's doing. He knows how to sort of do these things, and he has very good communications with the BBC on how to do that. So I always respected that. I would expect something like a unit spin-off or something like that. Russell's never done a spin-off about something that hasn't been connected to the main series in some way. Torchwood was about, you know, it was an organisation that we'd seen in the show, and it was also Jack Harkness bringing that together. And then Sarah Jane Adventures speaks for itself. Class was brought in a Stevens era, but Class wasn't really related to the main series, didn't have any characters in the main series, and wasn't something that you actively needed to care about, and you can kind of detach from the whole series, which is a shame, but, you know, I think Unit would be good. Not gonna lie. If you just brought back some old characters who want to be in a new TV show, like, I would love to see, like, Gwen Cooper and Martha, Kate Stewart, Osgood, the gals, Mel, probably. Mel will probably get a spin-off, a bit like Sarah Jane Adventures, 100%. Bonnie Langford's a big name in the UK as well. Like, she was very well known outside of Doctor Who as well. So it's likely that, again, bringing her back into the main show is also going to be kind of used to catapult a spin-off. You know, that's how they did Sarah Jane. They brought her back in an episode, and then she had a spin-off. The Doctor was in Class, but he wasn't. You know what I mean? He was, but he wasn't. He was, but he wasn't, like, the main focus of the show. You know, like how Sarah Jane Adventures took a character from the main series, Sarah Jane, and then had a full spin-off about them. Torchwood the same with Jack. Whereas Class was, like, off the get-go, all new characters. The Doctor makes a cameo in it, and then that's it. I think we'll get loads of stuff on the 23rd. Ask my question. Which question? Doctor Who musical episode? I don't know how I feel about that. I think it could work, but you never know. Wouldn't it make more sense for everything on iPlayer to be on Disney Plus as well? It would, but you can never guarantee it, because it's all about licensing. As proven with the Steph Colburn thing, with the whole Unearthly Child thing, like, it's been incredibly difficult for that to come through, so, like, it's probably going to be even more difficult to try and get it on Disney Plus as well, but you'll never know. You never know. First saw Bonnie Langford in an episode of the Catherine Tate Show. I don't know Doctor Who spin-offs need to be sexy and violent. Not always. That's just Torchwood. Yeah, we don't need any more Torchwood. I think anyone wanting like another series of Torchwood needs to kind of forget that. Torchwood hasn't been around since 2011, 2012. We really don't need more Torchwood. Yeah. Also teased they got 3 writers together to do a small 6-day shoot for something. Really? I didn't know that. That is interesting. I'm intrigued by that. I also have a feeling Stephen is somewhat included. I'd love to see a little mini-sode written by Chibnall, Russell, and Stephen Moffat. You know what I mean? That would be so cool. Like a little one-off special would be just sick to see them 3 work together. They're all good friends at the end of the day. Didn't Russell T Davies say that there wasn't going to be any more kids spin-offs? Maybe, and that would probably make sense, to be fair, because the main target audience now for Doctor Who are sort of, I would say, my generation, people who grew up with Tennant's era but are now old enough to still enjoy the show. So if you're going to do a spin-off, yeah, definitely better to do an older one. I would like to see an older Doctor return for the 60th in some capacity. Not David Tennant, but another one. I'd love to see, like, you know, like how we got Paul McGann in Night of the Doctor. That's the kind of vibe I want. Like a 10-minute mini-sode with an old Doctor. Oh, would just be amazing. I'd very much love to see that. Can you imagine if they got fucking Eccleston back for, like, a 10-minute special? That would be the best. I'd absolutely love that. Never gonna happen, though. I miss when Doctor Who used to do mini-sodes. They were always the best, man. The only main companion or Doctor actors that I've heard of before was announced was Christopher Eccleston, Jodie Whittaker, and Peter Capaldi. Yeah, that makes sense. I hadn't heard of any. I'd heard of Jodie Whittaker before. I heard of obviously Bradley Walsh and fucking John Bishop. Other than that, not really. Yeah, but I think it's just it's a generational thing. Like the new sort of series of Doctor Who should get, I reckon, more of a younger audience back into it. But you never know. Things are different nowadays. They're gonna have to gear it more around that sort of superhero genre vibe. Not that I want them to become Marvel, but that's what's popular. So it's kind of like you need to match that energy and that like level of excitement and action to sort of attract a younger audience, I think. A returning minisode Doctor would be 8, 11, 7, or 5. I think you're very right. Out of those, I'd want to see 11. I don't want to see someone we've just seen in Power of the Doctor because it wouldn't feel as special. And obviously, yeah, I'd love to see the 8th Doctor, but at the end of the day, I know people say, "Oh, Paul McGann could do." I think Paul McGann is looking old now. I don't think Paul McGann could do like a full spin-off now. And I don't know if I want to see like a mini-sode with him. I feel like I've seen that, and I love Paul McGann. Don't get me wrong, but it just makes me want a series with him even more. I loved his appearance in Power of the Doctor. That was so exciting and great, and I loved that to bits. But I don't feel like I need another Paul McGann mini-sode. Whereas like the 11th Doctor, that would be a surprise. Capaldi, that would be a surprise. Eccleston, that would be a surprise. The show has a habit of doing a lot of Classic Who stuff. The last few years, it's focused a lot on Classic Who. I'd love to see some nostalgia for New Who, you know? That sort of interconnectivity would actually make me really nostalgic. Like, I love Classic Who stuff, don't get me wrong. I love seeing all the old Doctors. But we've never seen, like, other than Tennant, the only time it's ever happened, only Tennant. But I want to see, like, a Doctor or a companion outside of their own era appear again. That's why the idea of, like, Martha, or, like, Kate Stewart, I think is probably the best example of a character who's kind of come through that. But they sort of appear in every series, and that's great. I reckon we'd see Eccleston again if the price was right, being that he did Big Finish because he needed the money post-divorce. Jesus, I didn't know that. That's rough. They couldn't do a sequel to the Five-ish Doctors. Yeah, I heard they submitted like a script or something and it was a little bit, not like bad, but it was like a bit problematic or something. I don't know. Oh, if Sean Pertwee did a fucking mini-sode, that would be amazing, man. Or David Bradley, fuck it. To be fair, like a Toymaker thing would be great. If they sort of did some of the Celestial Toymaker with David Bradley, that'd be amazing. But if you're going to do like a recreation with David Bradley, you should do Marco Polo, not the fucking Celestial Toymaker. It's rumoured that the 13th Doctor's regeneration will be rewritten. I don't know how that would work, and I know there's obviously like talks of like how Ncuti's gonna like integrate himself. I think it probably will be something like that. But the fact of the matter is, Ncuti's 15, Tennant is 14, Jodie's 13. So like that's always gonna be the running order. They're not gonna like retcon that. But we'll see what happens. Alex Kingston would always come back. It's the biggest thing she's done, and I think she's always keen to reprise that character role. And I think that's absolutely fair enough. I would as well if I was her. I don't think we need to see River Song again though. I think we're done with that story because it was so satisfying. The last two times we've seen River, it was so satisfying of an end to that character. Like, Name of the Doctor was a brilliant, brilliant ending to that character and her relationship with the Doctor. And then Husbands of River Song was like a nice epilogue to that, really bridging the gap between the library and all that sort of thing. But I don't think we need to see her again. People talking about the Remembrance Service is also another thing as well, I suppose, about the 11th, but yeah, I suppose you don't want to do the Star Beast, which is like about war on like Remembrance Day. But then also I think it's more like, okay, the 11th is the day, but Remembrance Sunday is the actual day. So, I don't know. But yeah, that could be murky water, to be fair. Aiming to put that on the 11th. But you never know. You never know. I don't know, but I would love to see a mini-sword with an old Doctor. I'd love to see something like that, but I'm not sure how that would work, or if that would work, or anything like that. But that would be my suggestion, that would be my idea, that's the kind of thing I'd like to see. But I'm super, super excited for the next month. I'm hoping you guys are. Hopefully we'll be back next week, probably not the same time, but hopefully we'll be back next week with another episode of the Who Bulletin on Halloween itself. Not sure what we talk about, probably something really spooky. And any new news, obviously, as well. But it's great to be back, and it's great to be talking about Doctor Who, and it's great to be getting ever closer to the 60th anniversary specials. And a reminder as well that our live stream in a couple weeks' time on November the 7th is a very exciting one for Doctor Who fans. So, if you're not here next week, at the very least, be here for the live stream on the 7th of November. That's all I'm saying. Stay tuned, and hopefully I will see you all next week. If you're not joining us over on Twitch, then I'll see you. Probably say goodbye now, but we are going to be heading over to Twitch immediately after this stream finishes, so feel free to check the link in the chat now, twitch.tv/gbsheard. As soon as this live stream ends, guys, we're going to be going live over on Twitch. You'll see it almost immediately. Probably not immediately, but almost immediately, and that's the important thing here. We're going to be playing Five Nights at Freddy's, we're going to be playing Five Nights at Freddy's 2, 3, and 4, a little bit of a mix of all of them. And it'll be a lot of fun. We have a lot of laughs and a lot of fun and a lot of fun stuff happening over there. And you can interact with what's going on stream. You can have loads of stuff. You can make things appear on the screen. You can make sound effects play. You can really, really interact with it. And it's a lot of fun. So, yes, stay tuned. Head over to twitch.tv now and I will see you over there. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you